Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. What's on the news today? Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass service grows to a 25 million subscriber base. Microsoft just announced that they have reached 25 million subscribers. That's up from 18 million previously reported in January of last year. I know people jumping on it left and right. Game Pass, as everybody should know, is a Microsoft subscription service that allows them to play first-party titles from Microsoft on launch, as well as various other games, typically around 100 or so a month, and they swap things out. 25 million subscribers. That's hand over fist. So let's turn to Nick, find out what he thinks about this report. And are you going to get anything from it? Do you subscribe? Nick?
Cool. That's a lot of subscribers. Yeah, I mean, I with the Activision Blizzard acquisition, I can only see that growing to even higher numbers. Even without it, I could still see it growing, but especially with that acquisition, it's really going to grow. Especially, I think, among the PC market, too. You're going to have those PC titles. You know, you got Blizzard in the works. You're going to have those Diablo and StarCraft and Warcraft and whatever else they make. Probably going to the Game Pass for PC and being, you know, as long as you have subscription, having those titles a part of it. And then, you know, your Activision titles like Call of Duty and stuff on PC, being able to those being a part of it as well. So that subscription model is going to be up there. It's going to go even higher and higher. And that's cool. I love Game Pass. Yeah, I do subscribe to it. I've had it for a very long time. I subscribed to it when it first came out. I didn't keep my subscription when it first came out. I subscribed to it here and there for about a few months. And then from that point on, I've been subscribed to it since. So it wasn't a year later or anything like that. It was probably like 3 or 4 months later. And then I just kept it because I started playing some games on it and wanted to keep playing. And then now, I mean, there's so many games that come to Game Pass. I mean, it's the best deal out there for anything you want to play. I mean, there's so many day one games that come to it, even not Microsoft owned games that come to Game Pass day one. And I mean, it's the Netflix for gaming. You know, that's pretty much what it is. You can go on there and download your games and play them. You don't have to stream them. You can if you want. It's there, the option is there, but you can download every title. And you know, if you have Ultimate, you get it for Xbox and for your PC side. And they do release different games on both, right? If it is a multi-platform game where it is on both PC and console, you'll see it on both sides. But they do release PC only ones, like the new Age of Empires. You know, that one's not on console, but you can go play it on the Game Pass for PC. So, yeah, I'm not surprised, especially where Game Pass is now. Game Pass is a hell of a service. You can't beat it. There's nothing out there for gaming that can compare to Game Pass. You know, we'll have to see what PlayStation does with P Pass, but for now, Game Pass is where it's at. So yeah, I'm not really surprised they got here. I mean, this train has been, you know, chugging along the entire time, and it's just gathering more and more steam. So it doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. What about you, Pat?
It's great service. I mean, it's funny. It's just dramatic effect. I agree with Nick. When it first came out, I was just like, do I subscribe to this or not? And I tried it out, and there wasn't a whole lot of games, right? That was the biggest problem. I played a couple of games and I can't find anything else to play. So I would cancel for a few months and flip-flop back and forth. I think it was probably a year after the service came out before I stayed subscribed and never unsubscribed again. I've been subscribed for a long time now. I don't see a reason not to because, in my opinion, when you think about it, it's $15 a month is what I pay because I have Ultimate. But you can get it for as low as $10 if you don't get the Ultimate. So you'll get the PC version or whatever. But, you know, if that's $10, that's $120 a year. That is like two games. If you get 3 day one games, it has paid for itself, you know. And you know, at the Ultimate, I get PC games and I get them console day one. And I play a lot of PC strategy and stuff, and they're always swapping out strategy games. So that's $180 a year. So that's 3 games. So if I get 4 games out of Game Pass day one that I don't have to buy, that's a win for me right there. And so it's a no-brainer to me to be subscribed even for a year. Part of me is like, how is Microsoft making any dang money? Because I'm not buying games anymore that are coming out to Game Pass when I would buy them before. So part of me is going, well, how the hell are you guys making any damn money? Because I'm not buying the games now that I used to. So I've been a subscriber, and I'm definitely a proponent of it. And I wish PlayStation would get off the pot and hurry up and put something out like this as well, because I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat too, especially if it's all of their first-party studio games, especially first-party studio games day one. You can call me a subscriber for a lifetime, especially if it's at $10 a month, or maybe in 15 if I can get games on PC as well, which I don't think they're going to do that. But at $10, that's 2 PlayStation games a year, baby. If they move up to $70, then that's more than 2, right? I mean, because that's $140 for 2 games. So it's definitely a win-win situation for Game Pass and for me, because I'm constantly subscribed now. I don't ever let my subscription lapse, and not to mention that you can get Microsoft reward dollars by playing games and getting achievements and in the reward program, so you can get cash that can help offset you can even buy monthly subscriptions on there if you pull enough points every month. So it's a great service. I don't know if you own an Xbox and you don't have this service, something is wrong, in my opinion, because if you buy 2 games a year that come out on Game Pass day one, then you are losing money, buddy. So you need to rethink your strategy on how you're saving money. Spread that $120 out over 12 months, or buy $60 here and $60 there for a game. And if you add tax, that's still more then, right? $60 game is not a $60 game because it has tax added onto it. Unless you're buying the digital, there's no tax on the digital one. But so you need to buy Game Pass, people. Get on board. If 25 million people are doing it and you're not, what does that say about you? Welcome to that peer pressure, kids. What do you think, Shane?
So I quickly ran the math. Keep in mind, I do not have my glasses on, so I may not have hit the right button. So if the 25 million only did the basic Game Pass at $10 a month, that's $250 million a month. That's $3 billion a year. Holy crap. So that's how they're doing it. And if they continue this, that's how they're gonna reap back all these game development costs and stuff. Granted, I don't know all the ins and outs of how they run this. How they get the non-first party stuff. I don't know how that money flows back and forth, but I can tell you this: if they keep this up, and I'm sure 30% of all those Game Passers are, the Xbox PC one, because I got the, what's that one called? The Xbox PC Ultimate. I have that one as well. It's a fantastic deal. I mean, that's money hand over fist. So, I mean, they're reaping back those development costs and all that crap. Eventually, it'll get to where they really get the profits going. Because right now, they're probably still in the red because of what's Microsoft. They're $1 trillion company. So it ain't going to hurt them. But I love it. I love Game Pass. I think it's awesome. Not only do we play, at least we get one game probably a month that we play through, to completion for reviews or just for fun. We will also randomly, what's on Game Pass? Let's check it out. We're going to play something together, but we don't want to play what we got. Let's see what's on Game Pass. We almost always find something on there that's just, we got it. We got to have it. We played it, and this turns out great. Game Pass gives you games that you don't always think about. You don't always, I've never heard of this. Let's check this out. Because you're not going to spend money on a game that you don't know nothing about. You're not. I mean, but for $15 a month, you have a buttload of games to, hey, that kind of looks cool. Let's check it out. You're not out an extra $15, $20, $40, whatever. you're out the exact same amount of money if you played 50 games on there or just one. It's a really fantastic deal. Microsoft is playing the long game. Microsoft is being very smart about the long game too. They just acquired Activision Blizzard, like Nick said. So the amount of games that they're going to have, especially on the AAA front, is going to expand greatly in a couple of years. Especially, with all the previous game developers they bought too. So things are looking up and up and up. Game Pass is an amazing, I'm going to say it for now, amazing for now, because I do worry that they are going to have to up their price at some point to, help with some of these costs that they've been spending. I mean, technically they only spent $68.9 billion or whatever the hell it was, so, I mean, if it was 70, I'd be a little worried, but it wasn't.
That's what's going to happen, right? They're going to Netflix the hell out of this. They're known as the Netflix of gaming, but they're also going to Netflix because one of two things has to happen. Subscriber base has to grow or to get revenue to grow, or the prices have to go up. And so for the sake of Game Pass, I hope the subscriber base goes up so I don't have to worry about a price increase for a long time, because that is the problem with Netflix is Netflix has kind of got stagnant in their subscriber base. So what are they doing? They're upping the price $1 or $2 every year. And now I'm like, no Netflix for me, because you assholes are asking for $1 or $2 every year and you're not getting it from me because your service is not worth that much money. So Microsoft could get to that point, and I don't know what that price point is. I don't know if I'd pay $20 a month for it. I mean, it would be hard, but I do honestly feel that even if it did go to $20 a month, I probably get that value out of it in the number of games that it prevents me from buying every year. But it's hard to see that, right, when you're looking at it, because what is that? $20 times 12, that's $240, roughly 4 games, right? Yeah, roughly 4 games. So if I bought 5 games and they all came out on Game Pass day one, then I basically am in the positive than what I would have spent normally. And I am on average would buy 2 to 4 games a month. That's a month. So, the Game Pass saves me from buying probably half that. I don't buy because it's on Game Pass day one. I don't buy 1 to 3 games a month that came out on that. So definitely a thing of beauty there. And like I said, I'm ready for PlayStation to do it. Get all that new God of Wars, all that new stuff that comes out.
Yeah. Now, do you guys think, and I have my opinion on it, because of the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, do you guys feel that, when that happened, Microsoft or Sony has a 12% drop in their stocks? That was a crap load of
20,
money.
I think.
It was 12% or 20 billion or some. I can't remember the number off the top of my head. It was an ass ton. It was an amount that my mind could not comprehend. We'll just say that much.
Yeah, it was $20 billion is what it was.
So do you think because of that acquisition that they're going to announce or at least push out more details about Project, I think it's Spartacus is what they're calling their subscription service. Do you think they're going to push that info out a little earlier? May not release it earlier, but they're going to start getting that info out earlier. Because I was originally thinking we're not going to hear anything more till probably E3 era, so June.
Haven't you heard the no rumors, Shane?
No.
Sony's going to buy Ubisoft. That's the new rumor.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
I don't know.
Just because I know Sony would go bankrupt. Sony can't afford. I mean, Sony's hurting for money. The only thing that makes money at Sony really right now is their gaming division, their consoles. Their TV market isn't what it used to be. Their electronic market is really carried by the PlayStation 5. I mean, they're not what they used to be. So, because they've got too much competition with TLC and Hisense and freaking that other low budget TV. Those are all coming in, and they're putting a hurt on those big electronic companies. So they're not what they used to be. But do you think that they will push out some more info, regarding Spartacus, their subscription service, any quicker?
Nick, if you want to go first, all for it, man, on this one.
No, I think it'll come out around E3 time.
I'm kind of in agreement with Nick because I think that's their whole plan with this, the PlayStation Now pulling the physical copies of
Yeah.
the cards from stores and stuff. I think they're trying to empty all that stuff out by a certain time, and they've got a plan when they're going to announce it. And no matter what Microsoft is doing, it's not going to hinder that for them, I don't think. So they'll talk about it when they're ready. And E3 is probably around the time, I don't know, maybe that they want to talk about it, but they could be just getting ready to drop something any minute now. I mean, Sony does seem to be a little worried with this acquisition because they came out with their own statement about you better honor these contract obligations and the whole worry, saber rattling. We're afraid this is going to happen, get the gaming community in arms. But I mean, there is no argument. Microsoft is Microsoft as a whole is a much larger company than Sony. But Sony's gaming division is larger than Microsoft's gaming division by a large chunk.
Yes, greatly.
So their gaming division is not a slouch. Their gaming division is probably carrying the company more than anything, but it is like the largest by revenue gaming company out there. Sony is.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I honestly think Microsoft's narrative, far as what's in the atmosphere, is typically on the negative side the last several years. They don't have games, their console's not selling, blah, blah, blah. And Sony's always in the positive vocal atmosphere. Sony's freaking breaking records with their console sales. Their games, their first-party games are breaking records. I don't think Microsoft, I don't think Sony likes the ideal of being on the wrong end of that talk now. They're the ones that are, kind of being pushed, and I don't think they're going to like it. I think they will. I think they will try to bring something out that puts some focus back on them in a positive light. And that, that's just an opinion, but Sony doesn't want to be on the wrong side of the conversation right now. Well, Microsoft just dropped $70 billion for this, and they're going to have all these games, blah, blah, blah. And Sony's already shown that they're having issues because that statement was kind of scared, kind of angry.
I don't necessarily believe that because Sony's console marketplace dwarfs Microsoft. No matter how you look at it, it's a dwarf. Microsoft is like Sony takes a piss larger than Microsoft in their gaming console market.
Yes, but Microsoft has done an amazing job of catching up. Microsoft is pushing forward and forward and forward.
Microsoft has one thing that Sony doesn't have, and that's the PC market.
True, but Microsoft sales though are they're not as wide of a gap as they were on the previous gen. Granted, there are a lot of technical things going on right now too, so that could definitely change once supply chains and material changes. But I don't know. I think Microsoft is in a more of a position now than they have been in years about thinking about the competition. That's just me.
I mean, in the U.S., Xbox predominantly outsells this year, at least this last console, predominantly outsells PlayStation. PlayStation worldwide outsells Xbox console by a huge, dwarf.
I think it's almost 2-1, especially in Europe.
It's a lot higher than that.
I don't think it's quite.
We're not talking sales.
Yet.
We're not talking sales. We're talking actual domination of the market. PlayStation has 92.24% of the market on consoles out in the wild that are in use.
Yes, but the analysis report I was telling you guys earlier, they have Sony at like 17 to 18 million units on PS5, and then they got Microsoft around 13 to 14, I think it was. So, I mean, that's not the gap that they're used to. It's not. I mean, they were maybe doubled. The last gen.
You have to blame that on what's happening in the current mix-up with the market.
I don't think it's all what's happening, though. I really don't.
I do, because if you can't get a hold of one console and you want to play games, you're going to buy the one that's available. And Microsoft has been able to keep consoles on the shelf longer than PlayStation has, as obvious by the number of sales, obviously.
Yes.
So it's not as an in-demand console. But
Sony don't like it.
But Xbox has always been like flat on their console. Like when I say flat, they don't have like in the bar graph, their console sales aren't like this. Their console sales are like running, they go up, but they do. But Sony's, and even when you talk about Nintendo, they're both like in a bar graph, they're up. They have a larger international market share than Microsoft does, but Microsoft's also fairly new. When you compare Sony and Microsoft's fairly young in the market.
That is true.
But
Sony's got a console and a half on Microsoft.
I will look for Sony to kill Microsoft in the market when they release P-Pass. That 25 million subscribers that Xbox has will be a piss in the pot when PlayStation is theirs. If it's as good as Microsoft's with first party studios, because
but it's
that
Sony
is larger.
Sony doesnes
if they do it right,
and they make a lot of mistakes when they're getting a big head. I think that's one reason Microsoft has been able to stay as close as they have, because people get mad at Sony for some of the stuff they do. These game prices, raising them to $70 and crap like that. People are mad about those things. But I agree. If Sony drops a equivalent version of Game Pass, the same price, day one exclusive, oh hell yeah! I mean, they'll hit that 25 million in a year. So it's inevitable. I mean, I'll subscribe to it, for God's sakes.
I'll be part of that 25 million.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, we all will. But we're fortunate enough to be able to play both consoles. So. Hey, Nintendo, by the way, pay frickin' attention. So,
so like I said, I think that if Sony rolls out their P-Pass as well as Microsoft has done theirs with first party game, if they drop P-Pass tomorrow and they say all of our first party games are on here, I would subscribe.
Heartbeat. Well,
if they and then what would make me would be the coup de grace would basically be all our first party games are going to come day one. I would be like, is there a $15 version? Because I'll give you $15, because that's what I'm spending. Because if you think about it, I typically only buy their first party games. And if they put 4 of those out a year, I'm already making money. I'm already saving money, not making money, saving money.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for me. And like I said, the worldwide console sales for PlayStation overall, which means there's more units in circulation, will dwarf the Xbox one. And that 25 million subscribers, PlayStation will come out and be like, we have 147 million subscribers. Or they'll come out and be something stupid. We have 95 million subscribers in the first year. There'll be something stupid, outrageous.
No, I don't.
They have the market share.
Argue that a bit. The problem with Sony is Sony. They won't make an equivalent of Game Pass. They're just not. They're probably going to do something really cool with it, but I don't see them doing first party at all. Maybe a year later or 6 months later, maybe. But
if they don't do first party, then I'm out.
Yeah,
I mean that's just clear and present for me. If they don't do first party, and it's all, no, I can't say that. If they put a bunch of unreleased JRPGs on there, a lot of US unreleased JRPGs, I'm in. But
what about you, Nick? I mean, if they were to drop all those JRPGs but not give you first party day ones, would you be in it for $15 a month?
Yes. I play a lot of older games, so especially there's a lot of talk of the backwards compatibility stuff. Yes. So if that was a part of it, I'd be 100% in there. It'd be like a heyday. I wouldn't care about the first parties. I mean, I wish it was part of it, but I'd be like, cool, I'll subscribe to that. It's kind of like their PlayStation Now is now, but their PlayStation Now kind of sucks with the stuff that's in there. There's a few games in there that I'd like to play, but I don't want it to be a separate subscription from Plus. I want it to be all enrolled into one thing. So if they can put out the P-Pass and give us a good setup, then it'll definitely be worth it, even if it's not first party titles. I don't know if they'll do the first party title thing. I mean, it would be smart for them to do that. But Shane does kind of have a point. I mean, so I could see Sony doing like it's coming to our P-Pass, but like it's 6 months to a year after its release. that sounds like a Sony thing, right?
So it would be one
they're
of those
not
things,
as charitable.
right? It would be one of those things where that to me would be I'm going to subscribe for a month, play what I want to be, and then unsubscribe.
Right. When it pops in there, I'm going to subscribe and play it. Then I'll pop out of it.
And if I really want to play that first party title, I'm not, it's sad to say, but as I've gotten older, I want a little bit more of instant gratification. Like I'm not going to wait for the new God of War 6 months later. I'm going to buy it, but I'm not going to subscribe to your service. So it's still a win for Sony because I'm still giving the equivalent. If I buy their $70 damn game, that's still going to be the equivalent to, depending on the price, 7 months of P-Pass or 5 months if it's $14, $15, so.
Yeah. And Sony doesn't release enough first party games for me, a year that I'm going to be too heartbroken if it isn't a part of it. This year we're looking forward to, big games that I know for sure, Horizon, God of War, and there was one more and I just can't think of it. But those are the only 3 on my radar this year for Sony specific.
That's still 100 and what is that? That's
170, 140.
That's $210.
Yeah.
So, and if P-Pass was $15, you're still saving money.
Yep. That's true.
Bring on the P-Pass.
Yeah. Well, before we go,
with first party.
There you go. So I think they pretty much got their last words in. You guys got any more P-Pass personal preferences you'd like to pass on? All right. Well, guys, this is a little bit longer, but this is definitely a good one. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. We want to say thank you to all the new subscribers we've gotten. We really appreciate it. Make sure you hit those notifications and give us your thoughts. What do you think about P-Pass? That's what we call the PlayStation Pass. If you haven't heard our previous chat about it, until we
Named
get
after
a
yours
specific
truly.
name. Yep. When I hit the bathroom, it's a P-Pass. But make sure you hit those notifications. And we love when you guys send us messages, when you tell us your thoughts, your opinions. Let us know if we missed something. Just chat us up and we will chat you back the best we can as fast as we can. And until next time, see you.